as much of a factor. A much cooler day here, and the players say that the ice in the game day skate anyway was pretty good.
Well, that's true. Unseasonably cool. Last time we were in here was in the high 80s, and it's dropped about 30 degrees. So that's good. It's cool in the building. The ice is a lot better, and so we can see a lot more action, and we'll probably see a little more offense tonight because players will be willing to take some chances and try to make some moves while stick handling.
Rod Brind'Amour just had a terrific series, an excellent postseason for the Blues. He's second with 13 points in 10 Stanley Cup games to this point, and Brind'Amour leading the Blues in this series with 9 points in 5 games. So he's finishing off a fine rookie year with some great play in the postseason. The teams are getting ready, but first, let's enjoy the anthem.
Ed Belfour gets his third straight start, 1.68 goals against average with 3 wins and a loss, leading the league in the goals against department and save percentage. Vincent Riendeau playing terrific hockey for the Blues, 6th appearance of the playoffs, 2 wins and 3 losses and a 3.48 goals against average. So his 7th appearance. He played 11 minutes in the game 5 of that series win against Toronto.
The officials tonight, the referee Dan Marawelli, the linesman Ron Finn, and Wayne Bonney. Jocelyn Lemieux opens up for Chicago with Dwayne Sutter and Greg Gilbert. Out there for the Blues, Brind'Amour with Lowry and Tuttle. Here's the draw, and it's dumped into the St. Louis zone. Paul Cavallini sends it up the near side. Gilbert has his man pinned on the boards, able to hold it in at least for a moment. And now the Blues gain control. Paul Cavallini banks it back to center ice where Keith Brown will pound it right back in there. Robert Dirk making just his 2nd appearance of the series, cleared it to center, and the Blues dump it in from there. Steve Conroy tied up, but Roenick there to help out. To the right wing boards, Presley shot it across too far for Gilbert, who's peeling off for a player change, and the Blues dump it back in. Doug Wilson for Chicago. Trying to clear it to center. Presley got tied up there by Lawler. Now back comes Oates trying to center one. It hits a leg. The Blues able to hold it in. Doug Wilson had it, lost the handle. Bouncing free to the far corner. Keith Brown's going to get a penalty as Zezel was knocked down. Back of the net. Here's a pass out to the line. Lawler nowhere to go with it. Around the boards to Oates. And he had his pass stolen by Brown, who will now have a seat in the penalty box. And at the 1:11 mark, the Blues will head to the power play.
It is get the first chance with a man advantage. Keith Brown for tripping at 1:11. Zezel trying to get to a loose puck in the corner. Brown got too much of him. Zezel goes down. And the Blues with 6 goals in this series on the power play, 6 for 25.
We talked about Brian Sutter making some lineup changes. He's not waiting long to give the kids a chance. Robert Dirk, in just his 2nd appearance of the series, opened up on defense for the Blues, and now in their first power play, Michel Mongeau, number 41, gets a chance. He's out there with Zezel and Hull. Adam Oates and Jeff Brown, the point men for St. Louis, on this power play.
And Mongeau at 117 points on 39 goals and 78 assists with Peoria.
25-year-old kid. He acquired as a free agent by the Blues. Here's Jeff Brown at the far point, a long shot. Belfour the save, rebound, Twinkle, they score!
It was swatted with a glove. That should be no goal. It was swatted into the crease by a glove.
And the
move ahead.
The official, Dan Marawelli, signaled a goal. He might be corrected here by his linesman. They both made a beeline to Dan Marawelli. Now, is it the situation regarding Peter Zezel in front, or is it that a goal? It's not going to be allowed. No goal, says Dan Marawelli.
And rightfully so. The shot blocked by Belfour, deflected up in the air, swatted at. Zezel's knocked down. He swats it ahead into the crease with a glove, and it might have gone in anyway on the glove hand. It was advanced into the net by a glove hand. Good. Marawelli called it as a goal, but the linesman came rushing in, Bonnie, and waved it off. Coleman was a deliberate attempt to knock it in with a glove hand. That's the right call.
It is the right call, and you had it right on too. Dan Marawelli did not see it that way initially. He pointed to the net, indicating a goal would be allowed, but the linesman came to change it.
The shot from Brown, deflected up in the air. Zezel misses it, goes with the glove as he's cross-checked from behind, and the puck swatted at by Mongeau. I don't know, even if he did score, it's still a hand pass in the offensive zone.
So now the draw back outside the Chicago line. Taken by Trent Yanni. He cleared it to the St. Louis line. Adam Oates has it there to Jeff Brown. He feeds Zezel to center, putting Oates to the line. He gave it to Mongeau, dropped it to Oates, has room, center when they score! Tipped in by Peter Zezel, and the Blues have a 1-0 lead. I said Zezel, I should have said Hull. Brett Hull with his NHL leading 12th goal. 1-0 Blues.
Hull just got a piece of it and deflected it up over the under the crossbar. Belfour had no chance. But a nice drop pass from Mongeau. Over to Oates, a great passer. Oates right onto Hull, and Hull with the soft hands deflected it in off the post to give the Blues the opening goal of the game on the power play. Brett Hull's 12th and 7th power play goal. But Adam Oates, a premier passer and playmaker, made a perfect pass across, and Hull redirected it with a soft hand.
1-0 Blues at the 1:36 mark on the power play. Hull from Oates and Mongeau. And Michel Mongeau in his first shift in NHL postseason play gets a point. Here's the puck into the Hawks' zone. Mongeau behind the net. Got help from Amesso, then he's bumped off the play by Lemieux. And the Hawks clear it back the other way. Robert Dirk for St. Louis. Nearly coughed it up. Now Mongeau try to help out. There's a battle behind the St. Louis net. Dwayne Sutter trying to jam it out of there, but it's underneath a couple of fallen players. Now Dirk and Sutter square off. But the linesmen get in there very quickly, and no damage done.
Oates and Mongeau get the assists on the goal. Meanwhile, Greg Gilbert was yanked down in behind the net, and then as Sutter tried to pry it loose, he got shoved by a much bigger Dirk. And they got into a bit of a conversation, but
now we got a problem. Dwayne Sutter just took a swing at Dirk, it appeared, after he looked like he wanted to get at Paul Cavallini. And Lemieux and McLean squaring off. Dirk trying to get into that neighborhood. Gilbert has a bear hug on him, or he did for a second to hold him off. And let's see how Dan Marawelli's going to call it. It would appear to me, though, that Dwayne Sutter might have put his team in a jackpot. He and Paul Cavallini now both heading off.
it looked like it was all broken up and settled in. Dirk coughs it up and behind his own net. Gilbert's forechecking. Takes the body. Then Mongeau tries to go behind the net. It hits Gilbert. And Gilbert's tackled from behind by Dirk as he kicked at it. No penalty called. Then Sutter comes in to try and get the loose puck. And he and Dirk got involved. And it looks like it's going to be offsetting penalties to Cavallini and Sutter. But the original altercation came between Sutter and Dirk.
coincidental roughing minors to Sutter and Paul Cavallini. Now the draw taken by Dave Manson. Manson nearly lost the handle. Now it's cleared back into the St. Louis zone. Jeff Brown for the Blues. Banks it ahead to Steve Tuttle on right wing. Tuttle has a man breaking, got it to Lowry over the line, in around Manson, cuts for the net, shoots, he scores! Dave Lowry in full flight, got a nice pass at the Hawk line and raced around Manson, then stuffed it past Belfour. 2-0 St. Louis at the 2.5-minute mark.
Exactly what the Blues needed. They wanted to come out of the gate strongly. They get a power play early and score on it. The pass across to Lowry, not known for an offense of flair, but nice move to get around the defenseman and then beats Manson and shoveled it through the legs of Belfour. Belfour was not set, but Tuttle, who had a great game in Game 5, had 3 or 4 great chances, made the pass, took the hit. Lowry gets around Manson, blows around him. Manson can't hook him either, and the backhand shot through the legs of Belfour.
And that's going to be all for Ed Belfour. Jacques Cloutier is going to make his first postseason appearance of the year. Cloutier, suffering an injury down the stretch of the regular season, has not been in the postseason at all. Jacques Cloutier now will get the call to replace Belfour after 2.5 minutes. Jacques Cloutier's last appearance was on March the 25th against Detroit when he played only 17 minutes. The game before that against the Red Wings played just 12 minutes. So he's not had a lot of action. The last full game he played was St. Patrick's Day, March 17th in Montreal. So it's been over a month since Cloutier's had any game experience.
And 2.5 minutes into the first period, we've yet to see Dennis Savard.
Here's the draw now. Manson dumping it in. Mike Lawler back for the Blues. Back of the net to Featherstone. Now to Hull on right wing, deflecting to Brindamore, who's tied up by Bob Murray at center ice. Bouncing around to Lemieux. He's knocked down, then Larner carried on. Shoot one, didn't get much on it. And Riendo made the stop. Now it's cleared back to the center ice area. Taken by Manson to Larmer. Steve Larmer in on Lawler to his backhand, now turning to wait for help. His centering pass stolen by Brett Hull. And a penalty may be coming here against the Hawks as the Blues player went down.
First power play, Peter Zezel high sticking on Steve Larmer at 3:07. The Blackhawks trailing 2-0, need to get something going on their power play. Their power play has not been very good in the entire playoffs. They're 5 for 29 against the Blues, 17%.
Now back of the St. Louis net, Harold Schneps had it knocked loose. It came to the near side. Doug Wilson keeping it in to Presley on the boards. Wayne Presley, top of the ring, side of the net to Roenick with a shot and a save by Riendo. Rebound in behind the net. Now Roenick dug it out in the far corner to Thomas. Steve Thomas's pass hits Maruelli and the Blues clear. Now Lawler with a steal. He got it down the rest of the way. Doug Wilson puts Roenick to center. Jeremy Roenick races over the Blues line, left it for Presley, put it across. Bob Murray's wide open. Here's the shot. Riendo escape save. Now Wilson a drive, deflected inches wide. At the far point, Bob Murray to Wilson at the near point. Now threw it across to Thomas, a one-timer. It deflected up into the uniform of Harold Schneps, and he gets a whistle as a result. Thomas had the opportunity to crank the one-timer, but the puck seemed to flip on him just as it reached him, and he really didn't get too much wood on it.
4 minutes and 8 seconds into the period, Dennis Savard finally steps on the ice. Meanwhile, Thomas on the cross-ice diagonal pass from Doug Wilson had time and room, but just got it off the end of the stick, and it fluttered into Schneps. 59 seconds remaining on the first Blackhawk power play. Savard is going to play the point with Wilson, Creighton, Troy Murray, and Goulet. Different look. Three centermen on the ice for the Blackhawks.
Rich Sutter and Oates out for St. Louis with Jeff Brown and Schneps.
Well, Rick Mahar was known as the defensive specialist. Since he's left, they've killed 13 of 14 power plays, the Blues.
Here's Creighton getting the draw to Wilson in the deep slot. Here's the long shot. Oh, hit the side of the net. Out to the far point, Savard. Slipped it across to Wilson. Back to Savard, deep slot. Into the near circle and Troy Murray. Murray moves to the top of the ring, fakes the shot, put it to Wilson. His drive deflected right on, and it's saved by Riendo. Rebound to the far corner. Here's Oates trying to clear, but Wilson able to hold it in to Troy Murray into the slot for Goulet. To Wilson, the long shot. Riendo stopped it. Rebound over the stick of Savard. Taken by Rich Sutter, clearing. One more rush on this Hawk power play as Savard motors to the St. Louis line, stops in the deep slot, trying to center one, hits a leg to Creighton. He shoots, and a save by Riendo. Rebound in behind the net. Lawler battled it loose and cleared. The Blues penalty now is over. Both teams back at full strength. Here's Lawler over the Hawk line. Manson poke-checked it away from him. Now bouncing and held in by Zezel. 2-on-1 fires. Cloutier, great save in his first test in quite some time. Cloutier, a good stop on a Zezel drive. Now Keith Brown in his own end. Brown for Greg Gilbert on the left wing board. Sends it ahead to Lemieux, who puts it into the Blues zone. Peter Zezel. Tied up in traffic along the far board. Now Presley took a run at Lawler as it's cleared back into the Chicago end. And it's going to be an icing call here against St. Louis. It's a draw. Keith Brown tees up a long shot. It didn't get through. Came to Manson. His drive. That doesn't get to the net either. Secord in the near corner. Got turned around by Momesso. Puck came loose. Held in by Dwayne Sutter. To the corner, Secord back to Sutter, shoots one. That's blocked by Schneps out in front, laying in the slot. Here's Sutter with a backhander. Riendo, big save. Rebound controlled by Chicago. Troy Murray centered. Secord all alone in front. Couldn't corral the pass. Now the Blues able to work it free to center, and Brett Hull chipped it over the Hawk line. Brindamore racing to the far corner. Secord took him off the puck, but it came to the line. Dirk a long shot. Cloutier stopped it. Rebound to Secord. Al Secord unable to get it in there deep. Blues on the counterattack. Here's Momesso on left wing over the line. Centered one. Too far for Brindamore, and Larmer had him well covered, but then failed to clear it. Came into the slot area, and Cloutier playing it himself to Gilbert. Greg Gilbert shooting it into the St. Louis zone. Now the Blues dump it back the other way. It's going to be an icing call against St. Louis.
Vincent Riendo with some great work on Dwayne Sutter. Two glorious opportunities with some good work in front. But Riendo continues his fine play. Shot coming from the point. Along the board, Secord dumps into Sutter. Sutter from a sharp angle. Kick saved by Riendo. Sutter taken out of the play by Schneps, but battles on. Locates the puck, beats two Blues players to it. As Brindamore can't locate it, then Sutter goes to the backhand. Tries to go to the same location, but again Riendo with a kick save. And then Secord was all alone in front right after, and he fanned on his shot.
Here's the draw to Paul Cavallini looking for Tuttle. Wilson pinched in on him. Now Creighton knocked down. Thomas looks to jam it out of there. He couldn't let the shot go. And now here's an offside call against Chicago.
Dave Thomas with 40 goals this year, has 5 goals in the playoffs in 12 games. Blast that proved to be the game winner in Game 5 when the Hawks scored 3 goals in 2 minutes and 16 seconds at the start of the second period.
Lemieux and Thomas for Chicago. Oates with McLean and Lowry for St. Louis. Now Manson at center ice. Shooting it into the Blues zone. Paul Cavallini hammered it to the near side. McLean tied up by Creighton. They hack away along the boards. Now Paul Cavallini came up with it. Shot it to the far side. Bob Murray kept it in. Cavallini behind the net. Able to jam it loose, and here comes Oates. Adam Oates steps to the Hawk line. Manson poke-checked him there, and Creighton shot it to the neutral area. Featherstone will dump it into the Blackhawk zone. Dave Manson gave it to Thomas on right wing, clearing to center over the stick of Gilbert, who now managed to dump it in. Featherstone took a run at Gilbert, missed him, almost wound up face first in his own bench. Now Featherstone back in the play, gave it right to Gilbert at center. His speed broken up. Here comes Oates. Here's a 3-on-2 for the Blues. Oates gains the line, put it to Rich Sutter, cutting right in. Offside the call. And Conroy and Rich Sutter. Now Sutter takes a run at Cloutier. What was that all about? Did not appear to me that Cloutier did anything to Sutter. He certainly must have said something, but Richard Sutter took a run right at the Chicago netminder, and that won't please the Blackhawks as they try to get back at Sutter.
Well, after the whistle blew on the outside, Sutter kept going in. As Cloutier came out of the net to the side, just to the side, and accidentally bumped into him. Sutter knocked down, got himself back up, and came around the other side and drilled Cloutier.
Well, now everybody beginning to separate a little bit. And a couple of penalties might be on the way here from Dan Mariuelli with 11.5 to go in the opening period. It's 2-0 Blues as we pause for a regional break.
Minor will be given to Sutter. Conroy's in the box as well, but offside. Sutter on the outside. Cloutier came out to play the puck, put his glove up. Sutter was just nudged, and then he got away from Conroy and he came over and he drilled Cloutier. And then he was mobbed by the rest of the Blackhawks, rightfully so, trying to protect their goaltender. And it's Sutter who gets the extra minor. The Blackhawks will get their second power play of the period. They didn't score on their first, though they had better action and better puck movement than they've had maybe in the entire last 3 games. Blues with 2 early goals, 2 goals in 2.5 minutes. One a power play goal by Hull, and the other Lowry as he blew around Manson. And that was it for Ed Belfour. Since then, Cloutier has faced 2 tough saves and made both of them in his first action ever against the Blues in playoff action.
So Mike Lawler and Keith Brown get the explanation from Dan Mariuelli.
Blackhawks in the first period really struggling. 17-7 they've been outscored in the playoffs. And in the regular season against the Blues they were outscored 18-12.
So falling behind the 8 ball, not unusual to this Chicago team. And they could certainly use a little momentum, which could be gained by cashing in on this power play opportunity.
Obviously the next goal is a vital goal. If the Blues are able to score and add to their 2-0 lead, obviously they're in great shape. And it'll be a tough come from behind situation for the Blackhawks, but if the Hawks are able to score a goal in this period, cut the deficit, and only be down by a goal, then obviously it's going to be a tough situation for either club.
Ron Finn is going off to the officials' room. It appeared that he had grabbed a towel. I wonder if he might have been cut maybe on his hand, or Dan Mariuelli seems to be pointing to his forehead now as he explains to Mike Keenan what the situation was. He just was talking with Brian Sutter a moment ago. And let's see if we're going to, as we did the other night, wait for Ron Finn to get looked after. I'm not sure how serious his particular injury might be. We didn't get a good look at him as he left the ice, but it appears to be a physical problem rather than equipment problem as far as Finn's concerned. And in this critical game. We're going to wait. Dan Mariuelli is telling the players to go ahead and get on the ice and loosen up if they choose to do so. So they're going to wait for Ron Finn to get mended or get worked on, and it'll be a short period of time at least before we can get back to the play. So we'll take a moment here with 11.5 minutes to
play goal. And the other one at even strength and Lowry's second goal. Meanwhile, Mariuelli out there with Bonnie. Ron Finn has gone to the locker room. And we've had some problems with the officials. First some whistle problems, some minor injuries. They get tired and vulnerable in this time of the year as well after a rigorous regular season schedule.
So we will get some bills paid while we wait for the return of our injured official Ron Finn. Midway through the first period, it's the Blues 2 and the Blackhawks nothing.
A kiss? Oh, not right now.
You really don't want to kiss me.
Dangerous. Very dangerous.
Give me a minute, honey.
Don't let morning breath ruin a good morning. Get Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients to kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Didn't I hear something about a kiss?
Right here. Right now.
Kiss me.
It is time for a kiss.
Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning.
Hey, you, put that kiss right here.
Well, Ron Finn got clipped in the forehead, and he's had to mend the wound taken care of, at least to the extent he can finish the first period. So he's returning to the ice, a little blood stain down the front of his jersey, it looks like. I'll tell you.
Wow, look at that.
What a job description these guys have.
They're not paid enough, that's for sure. They're really taking pounding.
You know, we touched on it during the regular season. They not only take a pounding and have to break up all the fisticuffs and the dirty work that comes with the job, but with the speed of the game the way it is today, Dale, and you touched on it during the regular season, guys, when they're clearing the puck and whatnot, they don't even take a look, especially killing a penalty and so forth. They'll just drive it. We've probably seen more linesmen in the last year or so get dinged with hard shots than ever before.
They have a lot of welts on the backs of their legs and their backs as well.
All right, back to the play now. Remember, it's a Hawk power play. Rich Sutter got an extra minor in that scuffle around the Hawk net. So here's Chicago with their second power play chance as the draw is taken by Doug Wilson. Gave it to Savard on the near side. Put it across to Lemieux. Can't find it off the bank pass, and it's ruled to be a 2-line effort anyway.
Gilbert, Sutter, and Lemieux starting forward line on a power play situation. That trio not used to much power play action.
Not like anybody was tired either. They had players had 5 minutes to catch whatever breath they needed. Now it's Roenick with Presley and Keith Brown as a forward on this particular power play unit. Bob Murray and Trent Yawney the point men. Last time Keith Brown played right wing was in game 80 last year, when he was the biggest individual factor in turning that game around, as the Hawks needed to win to advance into the playoffs last year. They trailed Toronto 3-1 going into the third period, and it was Keith Brown and Bob Basson the biggest forces in turning that game around. Troy Murray scoring in overtime to send Chicago even into the postseason. Then, of course, they had a great run. Here's Paul Cavallini in his own end. Trying to clear it. He did. Now Bob Murray gave it to Trent Yawney. He's forced to turn by Oates. Now Savard and Larmer hop on there with Presley on a Hawk player change, and Presley shoots it in. Riendo to the near side, and Tuttle with time clearing. And down to half a minute left on the Chicago power play. Steve Larmer on right wing, in on Schneps, weaving into the slot. Has room now, shoots one. It didn't get through Featherstone. Larmer in the near corner, out to the line, and Wilson. He shot it across to Bob Murray. Here's the long drive. Didn't get past Schneps. Taken by Larmer. Back to the line, and Murray. Gave it to Larmer on the boards. He hangs on, then centered some more. A shot and a save by Riendo. May have also been blocked by Featherstone. And in part, now Oates picks it up. Has an opportunity to clear and got help from Schneps to do it. Then Schneps is hauled down. A Hawk penalty coming just as the Blues kill off a Chicago power play. St. Louis will get one of their own here.
Well, Savard hooking Schneps. That's a lazy penalty, a tired penalty. After a long shift, he missed a scoring chance on the near side on a one-timer. And then with Schneps skating with the puck outside the blue line, Savard reached, pulled him down. A couple extra strides. Schneps is not going to go anywhere, especially in an offensive situation, but Schneps goes down. And a critical power play situation now. The Hawks failed to capitalize on 2 in a row. The fake by Larmer with Presley going down. Savard lets it go and hits the side of the net with an open side. Well, the Blues now on their second power play. They're 1 for 1 and a 2-0 lead. Big opportunity for them to make things a lot easier.
Zezel, Hall, and Mongeau back on there for the Blues. Jeff Brown and Oates at the points. Here's the draw. Zezel back of the Chicago net. Chipped it to Mongeau. Deep slot to Oates. Trying to shoot one. Cloutier stopped it, gave up a rebound. Now diving to his right. Was able to corral it before Zezel could pump the rebound in.
Steve Conroy might have saved the goal with a good hook and knocked down Zezel. Cloutier fought it off and kicked it to his right. Zezel appeared to have position and a chance. Mongeau reluctant to shoot, passed it over to the pointman Oates. He let it go, is tipped on net. Zezel trying to get to the puck. Conroy knocks him away, and Cloutier dives headlong and covers up. That's only the 5th appearance in postseason play for Jacques Cloutier. With 4 previous games with the Buffalo Sabres and had 1 win and 3 losses.
Here's the draw to Keith Brown. Sends it up the boards, not out. Jeff Brown kept it into Oates. Deep slot to Jeff Brown. Chopped it over to Hall on the far side. And then his pass inadvertently winds up back at center ice. Adam Oates. His pass hits a leg. Now Brown gave it to Mongeau. His speed deflects into the Blues zone. Here comes Jeff Brown out with it. Brown to Oates. In over the Hawk line, weaving to the near point. Now shot it around the boards. Back of the net is Mongeau. Nobody in front for the Blues. Here's Zezel to the far board. Hull, deep slot to Brown over his stick. Back to center ice. Now Hall steps in on Keith Brown. Left it for Zezel. Put it through to the near side. Oates into the corner. Back of the net to Zezel. Peter Zezel looking for a play. Feeds Oates in the near circle. Centered one right to Larmer, who steals. Meeting Doug Wilson. Wilson was stopped at center. The Blues quickly back over the line. Zezel on his backhand. Center one. It hits a leg. Taken by Gilbert. And he cleared. Half a minute for the Blues power play. There's a Goulet steal, and he sends it down into the St. Louis end. Now Oates lifted to center. Paul Cavallini over the line to McLean. Dropped it to Hall, of blast, and he rockets one wide. Now taken by Michel Goulet. Clearing it back into the St. Louis end. And the Chicago penalty now is over. Both teams back at full strength. Paul Cavallini in over the Hawk line. Weaving to the near corner. Cavallini got turned around there by Manson. Now Dave Manson gathers it in and sends it out to center ice. And let's see, a whistle on the play. It may have been knocked down with a stick above the shoulder. Well, with 7 minutes to go in the opening period, the Blues owning a 2-0 lead. And how many tough stops has Vince Riendo had to make so far tonight?
Well, he made a couple of key saves on Dwayne Sutter and had a tough opportunity on a power play. Hawks with 9 shots on goal, but Most of them came on their first power play. They had a good first power play action, but nothing to show for it. And while the first 2 shots of the Blues went in, the first one Belfour had no chance on a power play tip in. Second one, Lowry blew around Manson and then sort of put a weak backhand through Belfour's legs. And Cloutier's made a couple of tough saves since then, replacing Belfour at 2:30 of the first period.
Here's Dave Manson in his own end. Gave it to Larmer. Tied up by Ron Wilson, and he shoveled it up into the seats. Steve Larmer with a point a game in the playoffs, 12 points in 12 games so far, including 3 goals. And with any puck luck, he could double those numbers. Number of chances he's had, particularly in the Minnesota series. He seemed to have maybe more chances than any other single Chicago player, and he's continued on with some excellent work here against the Blues. Here's a bad hop to Ron Wilson, but his backhander blocked by Doug Wilson, and Savard then overskates it. Back of the net is Yanni. Around the boards to Larmer. Steve Larmer puts Gilbert to center. He has Savard over the line, gave it to him. Here's the drive, and a save by Riendo. Rebound behind the net to Ron Wilson. Gave it to Gino Cavallini. Yanni pinching in on him. They wrestle in the far corner. Now, just as Larmer was ready to dig it out, he was leveled. Now a centering pass, shot wide by Savard. Great feed from Gilbert, and Savard shot it wide. Now it came loose to the near corner. Back of the net, Gilbert gave it to Savard. Then his pass is stolen, and Gino Cavallini failed to get it out. Larmer flipped in traffic, and now finally the Blues bang it to center ice.
Well, Dennis Savard fighting it offensively. He hasn't got much going. 3 great chances in this period alone.
Thomas got around Lallard, shooting, and a save by Riendo. Rebound to Presley behind the net. His pass hit the back of the goal, though, and now Steve Tuttle took a hit from Conroy. Then Presley tries to center. Nobody home in front for Chicago, and the Blues clear it back the other way. This will be an icing call against St. Louis. 5.5 to go in the opening period. Blues 2, Hawks nothing. He winds up in the seats.
Dennis Savard, who has had 3 quality chances in this first period, missed the net twice, and Riendo made a save on another one from the sharp angle. And he was put in by Gilbert beautifully. Gilbert with a quick pass to Savard, breaking in on the right wing. Savard got all of it, and Riendo coming out of the net, shut the door. And right after that, Gilbert with a feed, and Savard shot it barely wide.
Now here's Adam Creighton at center ice. Into the St. Louis zone on Jeff Brown. Forced him into the corner. Creighton goes down there, trying to shovel it to Wilson, but Adam Oates picked it off. Oates gains the Hawk line. Cleared it in behind the goal. Uche out to put it to the near side. Now Lowry looked as if he might have been dazed by a high stick, but the play goes on as Schneps put it back into the Blackhawk end. Uche gave it to Troy Murray on the right wing boards, feeding Conroy to center, bouncing it in there. Taken by Steve Thomas, who took a hit from Brindamore, and now the Blues Cavallini feeds Lowry. Dave Lowry ahead, and a pass was offside as Brett Hull just jumped the gun before the puck crossed the Hawk blue line.
A difficult maneuver there. Hull on the off wing tried to pick it up on the fly and move, turn to his left at the same time. Pass was behind him, but his feet were across the line before he was able to get good possession of the puck. You can have your feet across the line if you have solid possession. Hull didn't have quite the good handle on it when he did cross the line. 12 goals for Brett Hull in this series, 84 for the year. Smile on his face, and a young man having some fun. Great to see.
Now Steve Conroy back of his own net. Gave it to Keith Brown, looking for Larmer. Dirk pinched to hold it in, then Ron Wilson's pass hits the leg, and out comes Savard. Dennis Savard hoisting one into the Blues zone. Larmer gets there behind the net. Dirk put a stop to that. Now Savard centered it. Gilbert! And a goal might have been saved by Paul Cavallini, who I think got a shot block there. And the puck on the mesh behind the Blues net. Great opportunity again for Chicago, and the Blues doing very well in the shot block category.
And it just hit a skate and deflected wide and hit the side of the net as well. Savard dumped it in. Larmer took the hit. Back to Savard in behind the net. Savard quick pass to the late coming Gilbert, the late man. It hit the heel of the skate of the defenseman, I believe, Dirk, and deflected just wide as Riendo was moving to his left. The Hawks squandering some good opportunities here in the first period. After the Blues scored 2 goals in the first 2.5 minutes.
Presley and Thomas on for Chicago. Brindamore with Hall and Zezel for St. Louis. And now a couple of players have trouble as they lined up for the face-off.
Roenick swatted at Lawler's stick, and Lawler's stick came up and hit Brett Hall.
Now here's the draw taken by Featherstone. Blues looked to clear, but Yanni held it in, trying to cut for the net. Poke checked away. And now Brindamore carries to center ice. Dumping it into the Chicago zone. Trent Yanni pounds it around to the near side, held in by Featherstone. A long shot is blocked to Thomas. Here come the Hawks with a counterattack. Steve Thomas has Wilson right behind him, gave him to him, shoots one, didn't get through to the net. Brindamore, a good read. Here comes Hall, one-on-one with Bob Murray, cutting through the slot, shoots. Bob Murray deflecting it high and wide. Now Doug Wilson around the boards, held in by Lawler. His long shot blocked by Thomas, and he feeds Creighton to center. And now behind the play, the Hawk goal comes off the moorings. So it's an automatic stoppage.
And Doug Wilson catching up with the play on the far side, though, but tried a slap shot from the off wing. Never got the shot away. Then the Blues countered one-on-one situation. Hall and Bob Murray, and they've seen a lot of each other in this series. Bob Murray's been on the ice almost every opportunity that Brett Hull has been out there. And a good one-on-one defensive play by Bob Murray against a very dangerous player. Well, Keenan is upset because the Blackhawks were countering after that good one-on-one play with an odd man break.
For Bob Murray, this is playoff game number 105. Second only to Dwayne Sutter in playoff seniority among the Chicago players. There's the draw taken by Dave Manson back of the net. 3 minutes left in the opening period. The Blues scored twice in the first 2.5 minutes, and has been scoreless since then. Here comes Lowry over the Hawk line. Bob Murray spun him around. Now Manson takes over. Dave Manson banked one ahead to Creighton, beating Troy Murray over the line. Murray had to flip it in behind the goal. Creighton after it there against Schneps, and Bob Murray centered one. It's picked off. Here comes Oates for St. Louis. Trying to feed Jeff Brown, and Lemieux took him off the play. Lemieux hustling back defensively for Chicago. Then a giveaway. Lowry in. Kuche rebound. Shot high. Adam Oates, a great chance. Missed the net after Lowry had a glorious opportunity. Now Troy Murray trying to clear it. Schneps held it in. His shot didn't get through. Now Brown. It deflects over the glass. No, it didn't. Schneps has it now on the far side. I thought it was in the seats. But now the Hawks will take an icing call. Bob Murray happy to fire that one down the length as the Blues swarm the Chicago net. And now Lowry got knocked over by Manson as he was conversing with Jacques Cloutier. And Dave Manson's going to get a penalty here for Chicago. I think he's going to be the only man sent off. It appeared that Lowry and Cloutier were having words. Troy Murray was in the neighborhood to make sure nothing happened to his goaltender, and then Manson came from nowhere and leveled Lowry. So now the Blackhawks will be shorthanded. Jacques Cloutier made a great save in his first chance of the game. Now left to fend for himself up a half giveaway. He beats Lowry, and then Oates had a chance to put it upstairs, and the puck flopping on him, he shot it too high. But Manson, forced by McLean, coughs it up, and Lowry right in on his backhand. Cloutier with a point-blank save. And Oates tries to go up high, but the puck on edge, and he got too much of it, golfed it up off the glass. So Dave Manson, a roughing penalty at 17:54. And the Blues with a chance to finish off the first period on a high note, which is just the way they began it. Brett Hull scored on a power play 1 minute and 36 seconds into the game. Now it's Zezel, Brindamore, and Hull for St. Louis. Oates and Brown, as usual, on the points. Now ready. No, not anymore. Zezel tossed out. Larmer and Roenick on for Chicago with Yanni and Wilson. Roenick and Brindamore will go after this face-off. And it's controlled by the Hawks' Trent Yanni. Fires it around the boards, out to center ice. Jeff Brown. His feed off the stick of Brindamore. Now corralled by Oates. Adam Oates scooped it to Brindamore. Oates, knee-high pass. He couldn't corral it out of midair. Here's a Presley steal, but he lost it as he came over the line. And Oates starts the Blues away. He cleared it to center ice. Brindamore gains the Chicago line. Left it for Zezel. Now Jeff Brown with a long shot and a save by Cloutier. Rebound Yanni. Cleared it to the far corner. Make it. And now let's see a hand pass called here against St. Louis. No, the whistle stops the play. Trent Yanni is not quite at 100%, nursing an injury, but has played the best hockey of his young career in the postseason. Really has blossomed terrifically, as the Hawks hoped that he would. They very excited about his potential even when he was back playing with the Canadian national team a couple of years ago. He looks like he's going to be a solid blue liner for quite some time for the Chicago team. Minute and a half to go in the period. There's the draw on the Blues power play, taken by Oates. Gave it to Paul Cavallini. Deflected over the line to Mongeau. Left it for Zezel. Open, cuts for the net. Yanked down from behind by Roenick. And the Hawks steal and clear to center ice. Paul Cavallini gave it to Adam Oates. Now Mongeau. Mongeau gave it to Zezel. Clearing it over the line, Paul Cavallini. His pass deflects to the corner. Zezel there. To the line, Mongeau. Michel Mongeau, a back pass to Oates. Touch pass to Hull near circle. Back to Oates. Looking for a play. 45 seconds for the period. Now Paul Cavallini shoveled one into the slot. Conroy steals and clears it back into the Blues zone. Half a minute left in the period, and here's a two-line pass touching McLean, so we get a whistle. Doug Wilson rebounding from what was for him a subpar Minnesota series. As we mentioned, he had a lot on his mind. The birth of his fourth child was imminent, and I'm sure that contributed to what he would have felt was a below standard series for him, but he's certainly come back in fine style here against the St. Louis Blues. Wilson finishing up his 13th year in the National Hockey League, former Norris Trophy winner. Wilson, in fact, leading the Chicago scoring in this series. He's got 6 points in the first 5 games, and Paul McLean, meanwhile, for the Blues, they're hoping for bigger things out of him. He's yet to score a goal, although he has 3 assists in the first 5 games. And his ice time has decreased a little bit as the series has gone on. 15 seconds left in the period as Jeff Brown sends a long feed to Hall at center. Hall stepped in over the Hawk line, peeled off on the far side. Wilson tied him up there. Now the Chicago penalty is over, and the first period will be now. So the St. Louis Blues did just what they were hoping to do, as Luce had a few words with Riendo as they crossed paths heading to the locker rooms. But at any rate, 11 shots on goal for Chicago and 8 for St. Louis, but that's not a particularly good indication of the play. The Blues had the better chances overall in the period. A 2-0 lead over Chicago as we get set to start period 2.
Well, Brett Hull with 2 minutes more of ice time in the first period. Savard at 5:41. He had most of that ice time in the second half of the period. He didn't step on the ice until 4 minutes and 8 seconds had expired, and that was the play on the point in the power play, and it was a brief shift. He didn't play a full regular shift till about 6 or so minutes gone by in the period, and that surprises me, considering that the Blues were going to be coming out of the gate quickly. You'd think that their best offensive line would be out there a few more times to put the Blues back in a defensive mode.
And we asked Mike Keenan about that before the game tonight, the fact that the last time they played in the arena with Sutter getting the last change, when Savard was put on the ice with his line, the Hawks saw a lot of Ron Wilson and Lowry and those people and Rich Sutter. And Keenan felt that if he was going to get that same type of response from Sutter tonight, that's the way he was going to go. It certainly would seem to give an edge to Chicago, but somehow in the interim between our pregame visit and the start of the game, Mike Keenan chose to do otherwise. We saw an awful lot of Lemieux, Sutter, and Gilbert in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and that certainly was just about directly opposite from what Keenan seemed to indicate that he might do. But he's pretty good at playing cat and mouse and not wanting to divulge any secrets, so maybe he was just leading us all on. There seems to be a delay now. I don't see Ron Finn. Is he back? I don't believe he's returned to the ice. Wayne Bonney is out there. Dan Maruelli is also, but no sight of Ron Finn, who was clipped in the forehead in the first period, went off for some repair work, and came back to finish the final 11.5 minutes of the first. But even through the 15-minute intermission, I wonder if he might be getting stitched up. Or
I saw Dan Shakti in the hallway when I went down to do the interview, and he has some stitches over the right cheek too, just below the right eye. He was clipped, and Ron Finn.
Oh, he went to get a new. He went to either get a new sweater or get the one he had cleaned up. He was had some discoloration, some blood stains on the sweater in the toward the end of the first period. So
looks like he just got out of the dryer. It seemed to shrink a couple of notches. A few stitches on the top of the head. No helmet worn by Finn. One of the few officials, 2 of them tonight, without helmets.
All right, here we go with the second period as Yanni clears it into the Blues zone. Featherstone looked to get it out, can't do it. Yanni a long shot, and Riendo made the save with Savard behind him in the goal crease. Savard into the far corner, left it there. Ron Wilson looks to clear. Savard tied up on the boards, and now Rich Sutter unable to get it out. Came to the near board, and Gilbert, he centers one. Blues steal, and Featherstone pushed it back into Chicago territory. Brent Yanni back of the net. Has a problem now with Ron Wilson as he held onto it for quite some time. Now Doug Wilson able to come and help him out. And he sends Presley to center ice. Presley dumping it into the St. Louis zone. Thomas to the near corner. A couple of others join in, and Brindamore came up with it for the Blues. To Paul Cavallini, now Hall. Hall racing and going to be 2-on-1. Put it to Zazzle, right and shoot. Coutier from post to post with a nifty stop. Now Presley tries to start the Hawks back. Beating Keith Brown at center. Shoveled it to Ronick over the line, left it for Thomas. The drive blocked by Dirk to Ronick. In behind the net. His pass deflecting to the line. Conroy trying to keep it in, but Zezel rolled it loose to center. Here's a 2-on-1 and a bad player change. Hall over the line, has room, fires! Cloutier just got a piece, and there's going to be a Hawk penalty as Thomas drove his man Brindamore right into the Hawk goal.
Well, the Blackhawks playing in this early part of the second like it's the tail end of the third, taking chances, 2-on-1s in the same shift. Brett Hull was going to go to the bench, saw an opportunity, decided to stay on the ice, got the feed, let it go. Cloutier got a piece of it through his legs and out the other side after Cloutier made a great save on Zezel earlier. Just before that, Brett Hull passed it over to Zezel. Zezel, who's been robbed most of the series. It looked like he had a hole, but Cloutier moved from left to right and got a piece of it and deflected it into the corner. That was about 15 seconds before the last 2-on-1.
Well, the Hull chance was a 2-on-1 because the Hawks got caught in a bad player change, but prior to that, they were guilty of trying to force things offensively and got caught. Now the Blues head back to the power play. Mongeau with Momesso and McLean. Michel Mongeau with 117 points in Peoria this year not only led the International Hockey League in scoring, but was voted the most valuable player in the league. Fine prospect for the Blues. We mentioned acquired as a free agent. 25 years old, a couple of years ago played in France. Wearing number 41, Michel Mongeau. Here's the draw. Oates on the far board. Out to the line, Jeff Brown. Plays catch with Oates. Now Mongeau at the top of the ring. Shoots one. Cloutier makes the pad save. Rebound Momesso. Sergio Momesso. Back to the near point, Mongeau. Deep slot, Brown. A touch pass for Oates. Turning on the far side. Adam Oates hangs on. Now side of the net, Momesso trying to center when it hits the leg and corralled by Steve Larmer, who got it out to center ice. And Larmer clears it in from there. Paul McLean, long pass missing Mongeau. And the Hawks clear it back the length of the ice. Adam Oates back of the St. Louis net. Now able to clear it to Jeff Brown, feeding Zezel over the line. Peter Zezel tied up by Keith Brown, stolen to Presley, but he couldn't get it out. Here's Brett Hull cutting for the net, one-hand pass. Keith Brown blocked it up into the air where Cloutier gloves, and he'll hang on.
Well, Wayne Presley breathing a sigh of relief, one hand on his stick, and had it poked away as he was trying to break out at the line, and almost resulted in a good scoring chance. Good recovery by Brown to deflect Brett Hull's opportunity. Cloutier gloved it and had thoughts of playing it. And Mariueli blew the whistle with 49 seconds to go on the fourth Blues power play. They're 1 for 3. 11 points for Jeff Brown, who didn't play a lot in Game 5, especially when the Blues had a 5-minute power play in the second period when Steve Thomas was ejected for high sticking.
By the way, let's finish up some bookkeeping. On the second St. Louis goal, Lowry scored a Tuttle and assist, and they added one also to Jeff Brown. That at 2:30 of the first period. .49 seconds for the St. Louis power play. Zezel and Larmer. Not anymore. Zezel tossed out. So Brindamore and Larmer get ready to the right of Cloutier. And Brindamore's tossed out. Now Hull will come in. And it'll be Oates stepping in there. Here's the draw. Oates got it to Hull. Then it's knocked away by Larmer to center, where Savard moves in on Jeff Brown. His pass deflects to the near corner. Yanni centered one. Larmer in too deep. Didn't have anywhere to go. Gave it to Wilson, a drive. And a save by Riendo. He fought off a high, hard shot from Wilson. And the Hawks make a bid short-handed, but Riendo shuts the door.
Savard started it up the near boards. Got it into Trent Yanni, who came in deep. Yanni goes into the corner, tries the backhand pass to Larmer, but Larmer couldn't get a shot away, was in too deep. He peels back to Doug Wilson, who was in deep. Then Riendo, good glove reaction, making the save on Doug Wilson's one-time blast in a short-handed situation. Still 33 seconds on the Blues power play. And Riendo, good reaction with the glove, knocked it down, and then fell on top of it, Larmer crashing on top of him.
Half a minute left on the Chicago penalty. Face off in the Blues zone. And it's taken by Trent Yanni with a long wrist shot. He rifled it wide. Now Savard had a rebound, but shot that one wide. And Jeff Brown. His pass trickles loose into the Chicago end. Taken by Yanni with plenty of time. Cleared it to center, and Savard gave it back to Yanni. He shot it into the St. Louis zone. Featherstone back. Glenn Featherstone kicked it to Paul Cavallini. He has a problem with Larmer, or Creighton rather, and now Zezel sends it away for the Blues to Brett Hall. Hawk penalty over, both teams at full strength. Featherstone over the line. Shot it to the far side. Peter Zezel, center one. Hall couldn't get any wood on that. Dennis Savard picks it up and cleared to Creighton at center, but he couldn't hold the pass. Now winds up in the Blues zone on the stick of Featherstone. Lifts it over everybody's head and the glass, and it winds up in the seats. It's early in period two. It's St. Louis 2, Chicago nothing.
Listen, roughing penalty, and the last one on a Thomas interference call at 1:28. Still a 2-0 Blues lead, and they've had 3 power plays since that time.
Now the draw in the Blues zone. Roenick to the near corner. Took a hit there from Dirk. Trying to dig it out. In deep is Presley, out to the line for Manson. His long shot flutters wide as it hopped up on edge as he tried to shoot. Now Manson at the far point. Cleared it to the corner. Adam Oates packed it to the line, not out. Manson with a long shot, deflected by Steve Tuttle, way up over the glass into the crowd.
Steve Tuttle added into the Blues lineup because of the injury to Rick Mahar. Game 5, he had 3 or 4 quality chances. He set up Lowry for the second Blues goal and has done a good job. Good defensive play there to hustle up to the point man, his man, and deflect Manson's attempted slap shot. University of Wisconsin product. By the way, won the NCAA hockey championship this year. Jeff Sauer, another fine job.
Face off from the deep slot of the Blues zone, taken by St. Louis, and Featherstone can't get it out. Larmer got it to Gilbert in traffic for Savard, far corner centering, and Gino Cavallini picked that off. And Featherstone rolls it to center ice. Ron Wilson was poke checked. Savard the other way, weaving into the St. Louis zone. His pass intercepted, and Yanni chases back into his own end. Gave it to Doug Wilson. His return pass nearly picked off, but Yanni chopped it to center, and the Blues will dump it back in. Greg Gilbert got away from Ron Wilson, then was knocked down by Sutter. And Larmer then able to steal a centering feed. But McLean steps right back over the Chicago line. Yanni took him off the puck. Larmer gathers it in, but ran into traffic in the corner. Now Yanni takes over for Chicago. Brent Yanni with room to center will bounce it into the St. Louis zone. Momesso to the right wing boards McLean. Presley stepped into him. Presley then dug it out to the line, and Conroy with a long shot that's blocked. Conroy trying to keep it in. He did to the corner. Creighton and Schneps up there, allowing Jeff Brown to pick it up, and the Blues failed to clear it. Keith Brown held it in, and now it is hacked by McLean back to center ice. Hawks shoot it right back in there. Vincent Riendo scoops it around the near board. Thomas held it in. Now Roenick got away from Schneps, turning in behind the net. Jeremy Roenick Out to the far point. Conroy with a long shot. Didn't get through. And Jeff Brown cleared it to the neutral area. Hawks drive it right back in there. Jeff Brown to Harold Schneps. To Mamesso, and he pushed it to center. Hawks again will put it right back into St. Louis territory. Excellent forechecking. The Hawks have completed a player change while the play has been entirely in the St. Louis zone. Here comes Hull now with it. Dumping it into the Blackhawk end. Taken by Manson. And a penalty's coming up on Brett Hull behind the play. Manson steps over the line. Dropped it to Troy Murray. Offside the call by Wayne Bonney. And an interference call coming up here on Brett Hull. The Hawks will head to the power play. They trail St. Louis 2-0.
Brett Hull does not spend very much time in the penalty box. He gets his first minor penalty of the series. Bob Murray comes across, challenges him early. Keeps harassing him, keeps sticking him, keeps preventing him from forechecking. Hull keeps pumping. And then as he gets away from him, he knocks Cloutier down, accidentally bumps into Cloutier. Ooh, tough call there. Meanwhile, Maruelli put the arm up, an interference call on Hull. I don't know about that one, but the Blackhawks won't argue. They'll get their third power play of the night. They're 0 for 2. And have only scored 5 power play goals in 32 or 31 chances in this series.
There seems to be some sort of a situation in the crowd. The officials are even looking up there. So a slight delay before the Chicago power play gets underway, but Dan Maruelli leaning up against the boards on the far side, and I think we may have some debris on the ice. Maybe somebody, some bozo, I think, might have thrown something out onto the ice. And
don't sugarcoat it.
Well, it's just nonsensical. We've seen it happen before. A fan gets upset with the glass getting repaired now. And I'm almost surprised that that hasn't happened more often in this series with the kind of physical play that we've had. And I really, high marks to both teams, Dale. It takes some discipline to be able to scrape yourself off the glass and off the ice, as all of these players have had to do it one time or another in this series without getting hot under the collar and doing something foolish. And this is the way hockey was supposed to be played. It is a physical sport, but too often we have the retaliation, the supposed intimidation after whistles and so forth, and there really hasn't been too much of that nonsense in this series.
That's why it's been such a great series.
Power play hockey for Chicago. Roenick between Savard and Larmer, with Wilson and Bob Murray at the points. Here's the draw, and Murray dumps it in. Savard to the far corner. Oh, had it knocked away by Lowry, but he couldn't clear it. Roenick gave it back to Savard. 3 Blues surrounding Savard. Behind the net now is Roenick. Gave it to Savard on the far side. Moves to the ring, then gave it to Wilson, a long shot. Riendo stopped and rebound. Bob Murray's centering pass comes through to the far point. Wilson held it in to Savard. Now Savard sets up along the boards, tees it up, shoots it. Didn't get past Paul Cavallini. Taken by Bob Murray. Dropped it to Wilson, now Savard. And then Lowry's lost his stick. Only 3.5 skaters for the Blues. Savard, side of the net. Roenick, a touch pass in front. Larmer tied up. Now Savard, a shot. They score! Savard off the goal mouth scramble. The puck was laying there for quite some time. It finally came to Savard's stick, and he flipped in a little soft wrist shot, only going 20 miles an hour, but the Hawks now trail 2-1.
Well, Savard has had some quality chances, and he finally gets one. He hardly just sort of advanced it towards the net. Into Savard. Savard peels back. Lowry has lost his stick. Larmer moves to the deep slot. The shot towards Roenick, who chips it over to Bob Murray. It's hacked at by Larmer. Back to Savard. Savard just hacks at it, sort of flips towards the net, and it beats Riendo through the legs. Roenick trying to touch pass to the late coming Bob Murray. Picked off by Wilson, but cleared into the slot. Lowry takes down Larmer, so he can't get much on it. Snaps, blocks it, loses possession. Savard just chips it, and I think it hit Cavallini's knee and changed directions and beat Riendo.
Dennis Savard given credit for the power play goal at 7:39, and Savard has now left. He went to the Hawk dressing room. It looked as if he had a skate problem. He was calling for the grinder, Randy Lacey, to get to the Hawk dressing quarters, and so Savard will need some equipment repair, and now the Blues whistled for an icing call.
They give the assist to Doug Wilson and Roenick. Looked like Larmer was the last player to touch it, as his shot was blocked by Schneps. The Hawks are not going to argue about assists at this particular juncture. They finally get one by. Wilson and Roenick get the assist on Savard's third goal. Might be a change on that one assist. Larmer appeared to be the last guy to touch it before Savard did.
But the Hawks on the board with Savard's third playoff goal, his 30th of the year overall on the power play. And Jeremy Roenick, if his assist stands, will be within 2 points of the Hawk rookie playoff scoring record. Here's Brett Hull in the Chicago zone. Tied up, Robert Dirk trying to hold it in, but it deflects off a Chicago player and into the crowd. And Steve Larmer, or Doug Wilson rather, shaken up as that one hit him and deflected into the seats, but he looks as if he'll be all right.
Well, he got it on the side of the head. Tough night for guys without helmets. Ron Finn gets stitched on the top of the forehead. Doug Wilson holding his temple, or side of the left side of the head anyway. I would imagine the Blues are going to have to starting to feel a bit of the pressure. The Hawks were down 2-0. The Blues had a solid first period. The Blackhawks have put all kinds of pressure on the Blues in the early going with some good forechecking. And then they finally score one on the power play, and this came a long way from over. Every game has gone to the wire, and we expect this one to do the same.
Now Keith Brown clearing it out to center ice. Steve Larmer trying to dump it in, couldn't get it deep. Paul Cavallini had his feed deflect back to him in his own end. Cavallini now sends it too far for Momesso. Back behind the Chicago net, Cloutier cleared it around the boards. It deflected right to the side of the net. Big scramble there. Momesso's pass winds up behind the goal. Keith Brown against Momesso in the corner. Creighton in there as well. It came loose now to Conroy. Steve Conroy banks it to center ice. Robert Dirk pounds it back into Chicago territory. Keith Brown looking for Goulet on the far side. Richard Sutter stepped into him, then Brown drilled Sutter from behind. Here comes Momesso grabbing Brown. And a gathering around the far side as Momesso really wants to get a piece of Keith Brown, but he's not going to be able to do it right here. Remember, it was Richard Sutter that ran over Cloutier shortly after he came into the game, and I don't think the Hawks have forgotten that.
Meanwhile, they took a run at Goulet as Goulet gloved the puck, had nowhere to go with it, so turned and pressed it up against the boards so as not to get a penalty, and then Sutter just ran him from behind. And then Brown came in, and then Momesso tackled Brown from behind. I don't believe there'll be an extra power. I think they'll be offsetting minors in this situation.
We'll let you know for sure when we come back with 10.5 minutes to go in the second period. It's St. Louis 2, Chicago 1.
Color, excitement, thrill, heat on ice, the world of NHL merchandise. Real hockey fans show their team spirit with official NHL products.
Oh, and now it's knocked out of the air by Vernon. Here's Carbonell going right in goal.
Across the line, left side, he shoots, he scores!
Look for official NHL merchandise at fine stores near you.
Brown and Momesso offsetting roughing penalties at 9:19 of the second period. Goulet gloves it, turns, puts it up against the boards to try and get a whistle and not get a penalty. Brown comes in after Sutter took a shot at Goulet. Then Momesso jumps Brown from behind, and those two players go to the penalty box to cool off for a couple of minutes.
Here's the draw now. Out to center ice. And Featherstone, or Lalla rather, chopped it up into the crowd.
Jeremy Roenick having an excellent playoff series after an excellent rookie full campaign. Started slowly in the year. It started to come on in December and finished the last couple of weeks without a lot of points offensively, and that might have hurt his chances for the rookie award. If he had finished strongly, I think he might have been a shoe-in for the award, but who knows?
All right, here's the draw now, and Gino Cavallini shoots it in. Trent Yanni back. Yanni, long feet, just missing Larmer, sliding the length. It'll be an icing call against Chicago as we are just about at the halfway point of regulation time. And the Blues with a meager 2-1 lead over the Blackhawks.
Savard now back after some equipment repair. Savard struggling in the offensive categories. Played well in Game 5, probably his best game of the series. Didn't score any points, but was a threat. And then the first period had 2 or 3 quality chances, missed the net on 2 of them. And then finally gets one on the power play, a questionable type shot. He just advanced it and hit somebody and went in.
Larmer and Ron Wilson now to the right of Jacques Cloutier, on in relief of Ed Belfour, who was scored on twice in the first 2.5 minutes and got the hook.
Cloutier shut the door, and he's had some key saves, tough saves. Rob Zezel a couple of times. Got Brett Hull. Brett Hull appeared to have him beaten, but he just got enough of it. Once again, Larmer has to take the face-off.
And Larmer wins this one to Trent Yanni back of the net. Gave it to Gilbert. Scoops it away to Larmer. Couldn't hold the pass, and now back in his own end is Doug Wilson. Wilson looking for Savard. And Wilson got a big hit from Gino Cavallini in the meantime. Puck bouncing at center, and here comes Doug Wilson. Wilson steps over the Blues line, and the play is ruled offside. Halfway through the second period, it's St. Louis 2, Chicago 1. We pause for a regional break. Hope's alive, but here comes Lemieux, and Jocelyn Lemieux shot one high and wide. Now Goulet a chance, and a save by Riendo. I'm not sure he knew where it was, but he's able to get a whistle, and now the Hawks trying to crowd the front of the net, and the Blues looking to clean it up. Here's Lemieux and Schneps, and Lemieux with a straight right on Schneps. Jocelyn Lemieux and Harold Schneps going at it. They're slugging it out, and Lemieux is all over Schneps. Jocelyn Lemieux, a clear winner in that altercation. Harold Schneps trying to clear the front of the net. He and Lemieux squared off, and Jocelyn didn't waste any time.
Well, Goulet let it go. Riendo made a good save, and then Lemieux was run over, and he and Schneps went at it.
And Harold Schneps appears to have been cut by a couple of jackhammer right hands from that man Jocelyn Lemieux. Penalties on the way. It's 2-1 St. Louis.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. Scrumptious.
More and more people are finding more and more reasons to choose the Discover card. Here's one. Cash back for every charge. It pays to Discover.
Merrill Schnepp's going to the locker room from some repair work. Obviously some stitches as he was cut by Lemieux in that altercation. Lemieux taking advantage of an old-timer like that. But Goulet letting it go. A bouncing puck. Riendo had some difficulty. Lemieux crashes in. Cross-check from behind by Brown. Lemieux takes both hits. Peels off. And then Schnepp turns and goes at him. They both at the same time agreed to go at it. And the Blues, Jeff Brown's going to get an additional minor, but Lemieux got off a couple and then finished strongly as well as they went toe-to-toe.
For St. Louis, number 5, Harold Schnepp's 5 minutes for fighting. And number 21, Jeff Brown, 2 minutes for cross-checking. Time of the penalties, 10:41.
Well, Brown really did cross-check Lemieux in the back, and then Schnepp and Lemieux teed off on each other, with Lemieux getting an edge in that altercation clearly. And the Hawks, who scored a power play goal in the second period, the lone goal of the period, get their 4th chance. Both teams have scored on the power play. The Blues have had 4 chances.
Larmer with Savard and Roenick up in front. Wilson and Bob Murray again at the points. Here's the draw in the Blues zone to the near side. Dug away to Lowry. Dave Lowry in on Doug Wilson. Tees one up, shooting. And it deflected up high. Now Ron Wilson trying to keep it in. Got it to Lowry. And he's going to try to waste a little time. Now the clearing effort of Lawler winds up in the St. Louis bench. Well, the Hawks will gain some ice position as a result of that.
Fine job by Lowry. He scored the second Blues goal, his second of the playoffs. What a trade it turned out to be for the Blues, acquiring him from Vancouver. He played in Peoria and then called up last year, finished strongly, and had a solid 2-way season this year with the Blues.
Also the best scoring year he's ever had. Lowry with 19 goals, 25 points. Best he'd ever done previously was 10 goals and 18 points. Here's Steve Larmer sending it ahead. He had Savard, but the play now ruled offside. And Lowry and Savard with an angry stare back and forth, but no damage done, with a draw being moved back into the center ice area. Now Lowry and Savard having words. Lowry coming over to Savard. Ron Wilson now does as well. And the Chicago standout is drawing some attention from the home team.
Well, Savard needs to keep his cool as far as the Blackhawks are concerned, and Lowry and Wilson both trying to agitate him, and now Rich Sutter's out there as well. Well, he goes over and has words with Savard.
Here's the draw, dumped into the Blues zone. Rich Sutter battles his way up the right wing boards. Tied up there though, and he can't get it out. Back behind the net. There's Lawler trying the near side. Larmer will keep it in. Larmer dropped it to Bob Murray, across to Doug Wilson. Up the boards for Savard. Put it in behind the net, Roenick. Back to Savard, far side. Savard tees it up, centered it. Roenick, a touch pass now, centered right through the goal crease it went. Larmer overskates it, Oates corrals and clears.
Well, Riendo, good work to get his pad in front of that pass attempt by Roenick. And then when Roenick got his rebound, he shot it wide across the goal mouth.
Half a minute left in the Hawk power play. Presley over the line, leaves for Manson. Back to Presley on the near side. Lawler tying him up. Oates picks it up and clears, but into the seats. So the faceoff will be in the St. Louis end.
An aggressive play by Riendo. I think reading that play was tried before by Roenick. on the last power play, and Riendo knew what he was attempting to do. Savard peeled back to the top of the circle, faked the shot, slid it over to Roenick, who was on his off wing, tried to get it out front to Bob Murray, the same type of play that worked earlier. But Riendo got his pad in front of it, and then Oates was able to pick it up and fire it around the boards. Savard drawing the traffic, but Riendo aggressive play to challenge Roenick, and then Roenick's second attempt just missed Bob Murray, and Larmer just couldn't quite get to it.
There's 22 seconds left on the Chicago power play. And the draw is captured by Lawler. Couldn't get it out, though. Featherstone shot it to the far side, and Lowry, he clears. Uche well out of the net to play it. It's cleared now to the near side. Lowry tries to center, and Goulet steals that. But as the Hawks come out, the Blues penalty is over. Both teams back at full strength as Yanni puts it in there. Featherstone gave it right to Troy Murray in the far corner. Murray couldn't get around Ron Wilson. Now here come the Blues out. Lawler feeds Jeff Brown over the line. The two defensemen leading the rush. Lawler had to flip it in behind the net. Lowry couldn't corral it there. Jeff Brown to the near corner in the bear hug of Goulet. Puck came loose to Chicago's Wayne Presley. Presley clears it back into the Blues end. Out comes Dirk, feeding McLean on right wing. He sends it in. Over to the far side, Goulet. He bumps with McLean again. Now Keith Brown picks it up. Here's Brown with room out to center ice. He'll dump it in. Creighton with Paul Cavallini in the far corner. Now, big battle away. Dwayne Sutter comes crashing in. And it came free to Sutter, but he couldn't corral it. And here comes Tuttle of St. Louis. He gave it to Paul McLean, slipped it over the line. Mongeau centered one. It's blocked by Conroy nicely. And Keith Brown just got clubbed over the head by Paul McLean. He's going to get a penalty. Here's Thomas, a long shot. It's blocked. The Blues will control. The whistle will sound behind the Hawk net. Paul McLean clubbed Keith Brown right over the headgear. And the Blackhawks head back to the power play. With 6 minutes to go in the second, it's 2-1 St. Louis.
Adam Creighton picks it up. Brown and McLean are tied up, and Brown coming off the board just swatted at by McLean across the side of the face, and Maruelli just caught it out of the corner of his eye. And the Blackhawks' third straight power play. They're fifth of the night. They're 1 for 4.
Here's Ron Wilson shooting the draw the length of the ice. Bob Murray back for Chicago. Murray put it to Savard. He steps over the St. Louis line. Now Savard with a long shot, deflected, rebound, they score! Jeremy Roenick picked up the rebound after Savard did a great job of gaining the line in traffic. He got the Blues to back off, then took the shot that was stopped, but Roenick popped in the rebound. 2 power play goals for the Hawks, and this game is even.
Too much respect shown for Savard by the Blues. Up the middle comes Savard on the pass from Bob Murray. The Blues have everyone back. They back in, back in. Savard peels off. They still back in. He cranks it up through 2 Blues players. Roenick is there. Changes directions of the shot. Hits it with the heel of a stick to beat Riendo and tie the game. Second power play goal of the period. The Hawks tie it up on 2 power plays. One by Savard, the other by Roenick. Savard doing all the work on that last one.
Jeremy Roenick's 7th postseason goal. And his 33rd overall this year. Here's Zezel trying to center one, just missing Brindamore. Now here comes Larmer, feeding Wilson. Now back to Larmer over the line. Slipped it to Savard, who had it poke checked away. Then Wilson carries in offside.
Well, Jeremy Roenick, who had a 7th game scoring streak snapped a couple of games ago, gets back on track offensively tonight. A goal and an assist here in the second period. 7 goals and 4 assists for 11 points. Well, Savard, with a lot of scoring chances in the first period, comes through in a big way with a goal and an assist in the second period.
Now the draw shot into the Blues zone. Robert Dirk, the near side to Zezel. Creighton took it away from him. Cuts for the net. Had it poke check. Came loose in the slot. The Blues able to corral it as Zezel. Then lost it to Creighton. Creighton moving into the slot. Couldn't pull the trigger. Chopped away to Hall. Here's a 2-on-1. Brett Hall with Brindamore. In on Yanni. Hall the drive. He scored! Brett Hall. His second goal of the game. His 13th in 11 postseason games. And the Blues are back in front 3-2.
Doug Wilson taking a chance. He had no chance of getting to a puck. Took the chance, thought he might get to it after Creighton stole it. Creighton moves into the slot, pulled down. Wilson comes in, gets caught and swatted at. And it's a 2-on-1 break. Third time in the period that Brett Hull has been on a 2-on-1 break. You're just asking for trouble. He cranked it up and he just blew it through Cloutier. First goal given up by Cloutier, and Brett Hull gives the Blues the lead once again. Boy, a costly mistake by Doug Wilson results in a 2-on-1 break, and Brett Hull makes them pay. Big goal for the Blues to regain the lead and some momentum after the Hawks had tied it up.
13 in the playoffs for the Golden Brett, and 85 all year long. Call from Zezel at 15-18, and it's 3-2 St. Louis. Now the Blues, Paul Cavallini gains the Hawk line. Cavallini still has it, then shoots one deflected off the side of the net by Gino Cavallini. Here's Gino to Paul at the line. His shot is blocked, and Larmer tries to spring Savard, but Paul Cavallini saved a good Hawk scoring chance by stealing the pass to brother Gino. Turns behind the net. Gino Cavallini left it for Rich Sutter. Lost the handle, then Lawler tries to shoot one. That's blocked, and Larmer took a hit along the boards, can't get it out. Lawler, a long shot, missed the target. Now Gilbert wants an icing, but Paul Cavallini kept it in. Against Savard along the board, got away from him, but then lost the handle to Manson. And the Blues coming on with a vengeance after the Hawks had tied the game. Here's a lead though for Savard. Savard in on Lawler, and Lawler came to take it away from an exhausted Dennis Savard, who now tries to get off for a player change. Now here's an offside call against Chicago, and that tying goal by the Blackhawks really seems to have lifted the Blues into a better frame of mind. 3.5 for the second period. 3 talent in a recently excited St. Louis arena. The fans were roaring early when the Blues scored 2 in the first 2.5 minutes. The Hawks rallied to tie it here in the second period to silence the crowd, but they've gotten back into it as Brett Hull strikes for his second goal of the game. Here's Robert Dirk back of his own net. Scooped it to the far side. Lemieux held it in to Wilson. He had it poked away, and Yanni has to cover up at center ice. Gave it to Lemieux, dumping it in. Now Jeff Brown lifted to Tuttle. Fought off a check to clear it back to Brown. Jeff Brown got it to the Hawk line. Passed it to himself off the boards, trying to center one, and Conroy steals that. Gave it to Roenick. Jeremy Roenick leads the Chicago rush. Has Goulet over the line. Here's the drive, and he shot it wide. Creighton to the near board. Tied up by Jeff Brown in the corner, and Zezel wins the loose puck. Cleared it to center ice where Tuttle flips it in. Taken by Manson. Flipped it to center, and Steve Thomas is there. Dumping it into the St. Louis zone. Mike Lawler around the boards to Hall on the right side. Lets it slide free to center. Now he gets to it. Steps around one check. In over the line on Wilson. Brett Hull centered one. It hits Wilson's skate. Dribbling toward the net, and Cloutier will take no chances, rubbing it there. Now Brett Hull with a huge night tonight. Once again, he had 4 points in a game earlier in this series with 2 goals and 2 assists. And he's added 2 more goals here tonight. against the Blackhawks in not even 6 full games. Brett Hull has 8 goals and 10 points. 2 minutes left to go in period 2. Now Larmer, who has been taking most of the faceoffs when he and Savard have been out there. Larmer and Brindamore will go for this faceoff to the left of Cloutier. And the faceoff is won by Larmer to Wilson. Doug Wilson chipped it to Savard. He puts Wilson out to center, looking for Larmer, but he couldn't field the pass. And it bounces loose at center to Savard. He races in over the line, trying to split the defense. He flies right in, shoots, shot it wide, and Riendo may have gotten a piece. Here's Wilson, a shot. Riendo stopped that. Came to the near side, held in by Gilbert. Greg Gilbert to the corner, trying to muscle in front, and Momesso said no. Then Hull took it away and clears it into the Hog zone. Trent Yanni to the far side. Savard rolled it to center ice. And Featherstone tries to dump it back in. Gilbert picked it out of midair and feeds Savard at center. Savard looking for something to develop, can't find anything, so he has to flip it in deep as the Hawks head for a change. And the Blues clear to center ice. Conroy there. Leave it to Manson as we go into the final minute of the second period. Here's Conroy, losing it as he comes over the line. McLean trying to clear. And he can't get it out. Here's Roenick keeping it in into the slot. Peels off to the near side. Shot it to the corner. Troy Murray is there. Murray left it for Jocelyn Lemieux. Then his pass is stolen. And Rich Sutter sends it down into Chicago ice. Half a minute left in the period. Conroy gave it away to Rich Sutter. Here's the shot. He golfed it up off the glass. And now the Hawks, Lemieux moves on the right wing boards to center where Ron Wilson tied him up. But Troy Murray managed to flip it to the St. Louis line. Paul Cavallini sends it quickly ahead to Rich Sutter. His back pass stolen by Thomas. Thomas one-on-one against Dirk. 8 seconds left. Thomas over the line. Fires! Riendo 20 feet out of the net to challenge him. Makes the save as the second period comes to an end. Vincent Riendo facing a last-second chance from Steve Thomas. Shuts the door, and the Blues will take the lead into the locker room. 10 Chicago shots in period 2, 9 for St. Louis, and 21-17 the Chicago advantage through 40 minutes. The Blackhawks trailed 2-0 coming in. 2 power play goals drew them even. Savard is third of the playoffs from Wilson and Roenick on a goal-mouth scramble at 7:39, and then Roenick scored on a Hawk power play his 7th postseason goal from Savard and Bob Murray at 14:32. That a rebound goal, but then the Hawks got so excited about heading to the offense, they got caught, and on a 2-on-1 break, Brett Hull rocketed in his 2nd of the game, and 13th playoff goal, Hull from Zezel at 15:18 to put St. Louis back out in front. So through 40 minutes.
From behind 3 times in the regular season. This series has been tremendous. Game 6 is going to be a great finish. This third period should be some period.
It was game 3 that the Blackhawks did come from behind here in the St. Louis arena. Catch and go past the Blues after trailing through 40 minutes. Only to have the Blues return the favor and come up with that Gino Cavallini rebound goal with 9 seconds left to complete the victory. Here comes Larmer into the Blues zone on Lallor. Wouldn't pull the trigger. Came to the near side. Greg Gilbert on the boards. Gilbert leaves it there for Savard. Savard right around one check now. Shoots one. Deflected just over top of the net. Taken by Gino Cavallini, and he clears it back the other way. This will be an icing call against St. Louis.
Well, one thing the Hawks have going for them is the ability to have one more game. No matter what happens tonight, they still have something to fall back on. The Blues, on the other hand, might be a little more tense, especially in their own zone with some of these younger defensemen. They have no second chance. This is it. They have to at least tie this period if they want to continue on in the playoffs. So the Blackhawks would be wise in this period. to dump and chase and put pressure on the Blues defense. The Blues will look to counter and get the Hawks caught as they try to be over-aggressive, maybe to get that equalizer, as they did in the second period. They had a lot of odd man breakouts, the Blues. At least 3 2-on-1s, and Brett Hull was involved in all of them. 13 goals in the playoffs, 85 for the year. Well, Hull set all kinds of records as a Blue this year and continues to set the most goals ever in a playoff, 13. Most power play goals, 7. A fine job Lisa Seltzer is doing for us under some trying times.
Now here's the play in the Blues zone. Brindamore bumped on the boards, but got help from Dirk, who tries to spring Hull. Conroy was in the passing lane, but then Zezel carries on. Zezel to the near corner on Conroy. They come together, then the puck came free. Here comes Presley. One-on-one with Dirk over the line. Wayne Presley waiting for help. Left it for Roenick. He cuts for the net. Mishandled it just as he was ready to shoot. And now the Blues start back. Hull has room coming in on Wilson. Lets it go. And Cloutier the same rebound. An open net. And it hopped over the stick of Brindamore. The Blues could have easily had a 2-goal lead, but a bad hop. And Brindamore couldn't corral the bouncing puck. Harold Schnepp's back on the ice. Clears one to center. Hawks dump it back in, and Bob Murray's hurt. He just got leveled by Steve Tuttle. And Bob Murray has just now begun to scrape himself up off the ice. Looked to be a clean check, but Tuttle just nailed him.
Head first into the glass. And he's very fortunate he was able to get back up. He lay on the ice momentarily and then got up.
Now Jeff Brown to Oates, whose pass deflects at center, and Yanni puts it back into the Blues zone. Oh, Lemieux just got high stick by Schneps, and I don't know if anybody saw it. On the dump in, Lemieux was chasing the forecheck, and Harold Schneps drifted him right across the face with a stick. If you just joined us, those two had a bout in the second period, and Lemieux just hammered Schneps. And now, as Lemieux was attempting a forecheck, Schneps just raked him right across the face.
It was dumped in by Trent Yanni. Lemieux tried to go to his right, then cut back. And then in his attempt to get to it, the stick, it might have been his own stick that got him.
What it was.
When Schneps tried to hook him, it was Lemieux's stick that came up and clipped him.
Well, that's really a bad call on my part. I thought it would look like Schneps because he was coming up with the stick. But it was his stick that hit Lemieux's stick, and it was his own piece of lumber that clipped Lemieux. I saw Schneps make that upward motion and thought it was his stick. That's my mistake. And there is not going to be a penalty, and there shouldn't be.
Good call. Schneps was trying to hook him to slow him up to prevent him from forechecking, as all defensemen are supposed to do, and most forwards as well. And down he went, and Schneps can't believe as he comes to the bench. Lemieux went down in such a heat.
Just underway in the third period, 18,081. The announced crowd in the St. Louis Arena tonight. There's the draw. Mike Lawler back in his own end. Nearly gave it away. He did to Savard shooting. Riendo bailed out Lawler with a big save. And now Rich Sutter to Ron Wilson at center. Dumping it into the Hawk zone. And now down goes the St. Louis player in Savard. Maybe the culprit here as Rich Sutter goes down.
And Sutter looked up too to see if the referee was looking, and then went back down.
Well, this one is going to draw a penalty. And Savard can't believe it, but Marawelli will send him off. It's early in the third at 3-2 St. Louis.
As he attempted to forecheck, Savard's stick apparently caught Sutter. Sutter went down, and then when he went down, he looked up to see if Marawelli was going to make the call. Savard trying to slow him up, got the butt end of the stick up on the side of the head. And Sutter went down, and Sutter takes a peek at a 2-minute high sticking penalty. And the 5th power play of the night for the Blues. They're 1 for 4.
Zezel and Larmer to the left of Cloutier. Here's the draw right to Oates. Dropped it to Jeff Brown. His long shot. Cloutier the save, and he covers up before Zezel had even a chance to go after the rebound.
Cloutier came well out of the net and stacked his pads and got in front of the shot. Larmer taking a lot of the faceoffs, doing quite well. But Zezel was able to win it back to Oates. Oates dropped it back to Brown. Brown let it go. Cloutier made the save with Zezel right there.
Zezel, Mongeau, and Hall on the Blues power play with Brown and Oates. Looked as if Mike Keenan wanted to take a timeout here, but now he backs off of that thought. Roenick and Larmer, the Hawk penalty killers, with Yanni and Wilson. Now the draw to Jeff Brown, up the boards, missing Mongeau, to Zezel behind the net. Far side to Hull, touch pass for Oates. Oates in the deep slot. Now his pass hits the leg, back to center. Roenick is hustling. Here comes Riendo out of the net, though. Good read by Vincent Riendo to get to that loose puck. Otherwise, Roenick had a good chance to do so. Now a Larmer steal. He cuts for the net. Centered it, just missing Wilson. And back to center ice. It's taken by Yanni. There to Larmer, whose pass is deflected. Brad Hull puts Oates over the line. Left it for Hull. Threw it across to the near side. Jeff Brown moves to the corner. Deep slot. Here's Oates to Hull. The drive. And a save by Cloutier. Rebound. Oates, or rather Brown, was tied up. Now Hull on the far side. To Oates, deep slot. Back to Brad Hull. Here it comes. And a save by Cloutier. Rebound to the line, Oates. Adam Oates up the boards for Mongeau. Came back to Oates. Now Brown to Hull. Back to Brown, the long shot. And a save by Cloutier, and he hangs on in traffic as Peter Zezel was trying to get to a loose rebound, and the Hawks swarmed around him.
Cloutier coming in for Belfort 2.5 minutes into the game has been brilliant. Jeff Brown likes to let it go at every opportunity. Traffic. Cloutier makes the save. Zezel in front, hacks at it. Cloutier finally locates it, and then Yanni and Wilson both collapse on top of Zezel, with Mongeau all alone looking for a possible loose puck. 43 seconds to go on the Blues' 5th power play.
Now Brindamore and McLean join Hall in front. And Oates stays out there with Paul Cavallini on the point. There's the draw. Keith Brown turns behind the Hawk net. Put it to the near side. Oates keeping it in. Around the board to Hall. Out to the line. Paul Cavallini. His return pass stolen by Keith Brown, trying to spring Creighton at center. Creighton one-on-one against Oates over the line. Has a man coming. It's Conroy. He centered it at the feet of Conroy, and he couldn't do anything with it there. Now the Blues break out. Here's a 2-on-1. Hall over the line with McLean. Gave it to him. Here's the shot. He missed the net. Comes to the near side. Oates, or rather Hall, kept it in. Now Keith Brown steals and clears. And as the Blues go back, the Hawk penalty will expire. And both teams are back at full strength. Now Paul Cavallini. Cleared it to Paul McLean. Back to the far side to Brindamore. Rolled it to the side of the net, and Cloutier almost mishandled it. Got it. Getting help now from Thomas. And he tried to feed Savard. He couldn't hold it. Tunnel a shot, missed the net. Now Cavallini, or Momesso, rather tried to bank it off the end boards to the slot. Bob Murray picked that off. And back at center, Momesso dumps it in. Here's Manson. Manson trying to get through 2 checks. Fails to do it, but Savard bailed him out. Dennis Savard skates it over the St. Louis line. His feed stolen by Momesso. And then Lawler puts it in behind the Blackhawk goal. Trent Yanni or Jocelyn Lemieux. Cavallini stopped that rush, and back in his own end is Wilson. Long feed missing Lemieux, rolling into the blue zone. Lemieux hustles in there after it. He and Lawler come together, and Lawler's on the seat of his pants. Blues can't get it out. Wilson's long shot deflects wide. Gino Cavallini knocked down behind the net. Hronek trying to steal it. He did to Lemieux in the corner. Jocelyn Lemieux trying to center it. Lawler picked it off to Goulet, and he hit the side of the net. And the Blues will send it the length and take an icing call here. 14 minutes to go in the third period. It's 3-2 St. Louis as we pause for a regional break.
Trying to spur on the Blues to Game 7 at the Chicago Stadium. Hawks, though, with other plans, trailing 3-2.
Savard, Larmer, and Gilbert. Savard now taking the draw. Most of the time tonight has been Larmer in the face-offs against Ron Wilson. Wilson, Lowry, and Sutter for St. Louis. And it will be Larmer again, and Savard is tossed out. In the face-off, into the near corner, and then Schneps gave it away to Larmer, feeding Savard around. Schneps cuts in, fires, and it's a rebound. Gilbert stopped by Riendo. What a save by Vincent Riendo on Gilbert's great rebound chance. And now Savard tries to take a dive. Marawelli says play on. Here comes Conroy. Steve Conroy drives it into the Blues zone. Gino Cavallini dumps it right back out. Bob Murray for Chicago. Gave it to Manson. Manson got it to the line and shot it in. Paul Cavallini puts it around to the far side. Ron Wilson feeds Steve Tuttle at center. In on Manson. Tuttle trying to split the defense, can't do it. And it's poked free to center where Oates will dump it in. Tuttle over to the far side to dig it out. Centered one. Lowry couldn't kick it to the stick. And the Hawks move away. Wayne Presley into the St. Louis zone. In traffic. Knocked down. He still got rid of the shot. And Riendo steers it to the corner. Taken by Paul Cavallini. Feeding Tuttle on right wing. His long pass, a two-line effort. If Lowry touches it, he does, and it is. And then Lowry and Yanni bump all the way into the corner. Ron Finn quickly there to make sure they go no further, but we may have a penalty. Dan Marawelli, I think, will. It appeared he might call a penalty, but maybe not. No, sir. Dan Marawelli just was pointing the other way. I thought he might be pointing to the penalty box.
Well, Vincent Riendo's had a great series. And then he comes through with a big save, a Schneps giveaway. Savard with the shot. And on the rebound, Gilbert just had it kicked away by Riendo on his backhand attempt. Schneps gave it away to Larmer, then went for the stick move, went for the puck, missed Savard and the puck. And Riendo with a save on Savard, and then a better save on the rebound attempt from Gilbert.
St. Louis bench hollering about something as Ron Finn came over and got an earful. O'Brien, Sutter, and Joe Micheletti very active behind the bench right here, but the puck is dropped as Larmer tries to center when Brindamore steals a lead for Hall. He's in. Brad Hall a breakaway, going for the hat trick, and he shot it upstairs. Oh, with a breakaway chance, missed the net, and here comes Trent Yanni back the other way. Yanni got it to Savard. Steps in over the line. Savard up the slot. Had it chopped loose to the near corner. Gilbert there. Centered one. It's picked off by Paul Cavallini. Now Gilbert again. Put it in front. Zezel steals this one. And Peter Zezel got it to center. Brindamore. His pass is stolen. And Savard flipping it back into the St. Louis zone. Bouncing in behind the goal, and it's knocked down with the stick above the shoulder. Well, the play is stopped.
Brett Hull, amazing how he gets open.
Steve Conroy told you in the last intermission, he used the perfect word, opportunistic.
How many P's in that? I mean, it's unbelievable how many chances he gets. He has 13 goals. He can have 5-6 more goals in this series. All alone, and tries to go to the upper corner, the glove side of Cloutier, and he shot it over the net, bidding for the hat trick. 5 hat tricks in the regular season for Brett Hull. Now Sutter's got his arm around Marawelli, and what's this all about?
Before the last faceoff, the Blues seem to be upset about something that the linesman might have been doing, and they had a few words with Ron Finn. Now Marawelli over to tell Mike Keenan what all that conversing was about. But the talk is short and sweet, and we'll have a draw with 12 minutes left outside the St. Louis line. Mongeau out there with Momesso and McLean. Hronek, Presley, and Thomas for Chicago. Mongeau has not had too many even strength shifts tonight. Now it's shot back into the Hawk zone. This is going to be an icing call against St. Louis. If the Blues hang on and finish off this victory, the decisive 7th game would be Monday night in Chicago Stadium, 7:35 Central Time. For that one, if it's necessary. And the Edmonton Oilers, I would imagine, hope that it will be necessary. They will have been off for 8 days, 7 days anyway, as the Stanley Cup semifinals for the Campbell Conference set to begin next Wednesday night. And regardless of who wins this series, that next series will begin in Edmonton. The Oilers finished 2 points better than the Hawks in the regular season. And of course, Chicago was ahead of St. Louis. Now to the left of Riendo, they're ready, and Momesso wins a draw to the near side, and McLean trying to clear it, and he did get it out to center ice. Manson leading for Thomas. He couldn't corral it off the boards, and Featherstone hammers it into the Hawk end. Bob Murray gave it to Hronek at center. Jeremy Hronek gains the line, weaving to the far side, chopped it in front. A bouncing puck, and Riendo swats it just wide. Now in the near corner, Thomas battling McLean. Came loose at the side of the net to Lallard. Left wing boards to Momesso. He rolled it to Mongeau. Back to Momesso, whose pass is taken by Featherstone, and he'll shoot it in. Adam Creighton starts the Hawks back to Troy Murray. Taking a long shot, Riendo steers it to Steve Tuttle. And he rolled it out to center ice. Keith Brown gave it to Troy Murray. Passed it to himself around Schneps, shooting, and he shot it wide. To the near point, Conroy, his long shot didn't get past Schneps. And Tuttle able to roll it back to center ice. Michel Goulet feeds Steve Conroy. Lifted ahead to Larmer over the line. Gave it to Savard in the near corner. He rings it around the boards, and Lowry able to clear it back to the Blackhawk end. Here's Larmer back into the St. Louis zone. Now a Rich Sutter steal as we reach the halfway point of the third period. The Blues trying to stave off elimination, own a 3-2 lead over the Blackhawks. Here's the play in the St. Louis end. Savard trying to center it, deflected in the slot, and Gino Cavallini sweeps it back the other way. Doug Wilson back to touch it for an icing call against St. Louis. Halfway through the third period, St. Louis 3, Chicago 2, as we pause for a regional break. crowd on hand. And they're enjoying a 3-2 St. Louis lead at the moment. Here's Steve Thomas off the draw, trying to center it. Couldn't get it through Brindamore. Thomas battles his way behind the net. Now muscled in front, shoots one. Riendeau stopped it, and he hangs on. A solo hard work effort from Steve Thomas there to even create a chance. But Riendeau shuts the door.
Twice from the corner, Thomas tried to bang it out front. First it hit Brindamore, then his second attempt he tried to slap it out there as hard as he could. It never got through. Good play by Brindamore. Back to Thomas. The second time he hit Brindamore again. Finally gets away from Brindamore. Dirk gets picked. And Thomas comes out, tries to stuff it on the short side. Didn't get much on it. Was deflected at the last second, but Riendeau still a tough save with a very dangerous Thomas bearing in on him.
Hronek, Thomas, and Presley against Brindamore, Zezel, and Hall. And the two rookies ready to the left of Riendeau. Brindamore winning the draw to Dirk. Robert Dirk gave it away to Thomas. A long shot sticked aside by Riendeau, and it's shot back into the Hawk zone. And this will be another icing call against the Blues.
Well, the Blues aren't going to take any chances, that's for sure. Any doubts at all. It's going hard out the zone. The last couple of shifts, that's what's happened. Riendeau just deflecting that shot from Thomas as Hronek was open in the slot. This is when the Blues are at their best. In the one-goal game, they seem to make the safe play at every opportunity.
Now Savard, Larmer, and Gilbert against Wilson, Sutter, and Gino Cavallini.
A lot of doubt on the face-off situations. A lot of people looking at their benches to see where they should be. I think after 80 games of the regular season and all these games in the postseason, you'd have pretty well an idea where you should be on the face-off.
There's the draw around to the near side. Rich, Sutter, and Gilbert come together. Then Ron Wilson dug it out to Gino Cavallini. Cranks a long shot wide to the near board. Sutter knocked down to the corner, chipped loose behind the net. Ron Wilson centered it. Rich Sutter at the side of the goal couldn't pull the trigger. Wilson has it again. Centered it. Sutter, the shot. He scores! Richard Sutter makes it 4-2 St. Louis.
Well, Ron Wilson with some nifty skating and stick handling from behind the net. Sutter started it, then moved back out. His first attempt was deflected back. Wilson circled around, got the backhand pass out to Sutter. And Sutter with good forechecking. Wilson in behind to Sutter. Sutter back to Wilson. Wilson peels back on the backhand. Sutter let go. Wilson leaves him. Goes to the man behind the net, and Sutter makes him pay with a low shot just inside the far post. Doug Wilson had him tied up and let him go. Went behind the net, and that gave Sutter the room on the feed from Wilson.
Now Gilbert and Sutter off the draw. Gilbert, a major right hand. He's all over Sutter. They had a problem right from the ensuing face-off after the goal. As they dropped the puck, Gilbert wound up on the deck. He came up, had words with Sutter. They pushed back and forth, and then the gloves came off, and Gilbert just drifted Sutter with a straight right and leveled him. No penalties are on the way, but the Blues have the lead. Now Featherstone and Manson squaring off, but that's all for now as Marawelli quickly gets in between with 8.5.
5-minute fighting majors at 11:17 to both Gilbert and Sutter. Sutter's second goal of the playoffs from Wilson and Gino Cavallini at 11:07. Now give the Blues a 2-goal cushion with just under 9 minutes to go in the third.
Savard tossed out of the draw. And here's the face-off as Larmer Gets it to Savard, flipping it in deep. Larmer to the far corner. Took a hit there. Gino Cavallini pries it loose. Savard looking to tie him up. He did. He nearly stole it, but Cavallini held on. And they still muck it up along the board. Now Ron Wilson able to clear it back to the Hawk line. Doug Wilson there. Looking for Yanni. He's tied up. Gino Cavallini sweeps it loose back of the net. Tuttle. Goulet bumping him into the inboards. And then Doug Wilson came up with it. Aiding Savard. Savard tied up. Wilson able to help out. Gave it to Yanni. Trent Yanni works his way to center, flipping it in. Over to the far corner. Mike Lallard tied up on the boards. Now everybody hacking away on the far side. And they'll hold it there for a whistle. 7.5 minutes left in the third period. Blues 4, Hawks 2. Party. Jeremy Roenick gets looked at by Dan Marawelli. Has he been cut? Oh, it looks he might be spitting out his teeth. That's the second. That happened last year in the playoffs. Featherstone cross-checked Roenick right in the mouth. He lost a couple of teeth there, and it may have happened again here as a result of a Schnepp's high stick. This could well be a major. Let's see how Marawelli will call it. We'll tell you for sure when we come back. Yes, he is gone. Schnepp's is gone. Here's the game right here. It may be the season for the Blues. They'll be shorthanded for 5 minutes. They have a 2-goal lead. It's 4-2 St. Louis.
To get rid of her gray, my wife can spend 40 minutes. But I discovered the 5-minute hair coloring.
The revolutionary discovery called Just for Men from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes shampoo out.
Gray is blended away. The look of my natural color is back in 5 minutes. That was me, and it won't fade or wash out.
My hair takes forever, but you look great in just 5 minutes.
The look of your natural color in just 5 minutes with Just for Men.
Now the Blackhawks will get most of the remaining time with a power play. Schnepp's first hook by Presley, and then he tries to slow up Roenick, and he gets the stick right into the face, draws blood in the lower lip. Roenick goes down. Schnepp's goes to the locker room. A 5-minute high sticking penalty and a game misconduct. So the Blackhawks on their 6th power play of the night with 7:28 to go in regulation. The Blues, though, have a 2-goal cushion. And the Hawk power play has 2 power play goals tonight. Only 7 in the series against the Blues. And they got 3 power play goals in the first 2 games.
Now the Blues penalty killers will be Wilson, Ron Wilson with Lowry. Lallard and Paul Cavallini. Here's the draw behind the net. Cavallini sweeps it to Lowry. Couldn't get it by Doug Wilson. They wrestle along the boards. Now came free to Bob Murray. Looking for Savard. He's too well covered. Got slashed by Paul Cavallini. The play goes on. Cavallini hoisting one. Back to center ice. Savard is going to get a penalty, I believe. Paul Cavallini goes down. Whistle has sounded. The players didn't hear it. And now a potential problem in the Hawk zone as the players going to the other end of the ice didn't hear Dan Marawelli's whistle. He was back in the Blues zone. I think he was going to call a penalty on Savard, but now we may have more added to that. But Savard got slashed by Paul Cavallini, came back at him, slashed him back. And that's going to be a penalty on the Chicago centerman.
Well, you knew that Marawelli would look for anything to get. Cavallini got the slash, and really Savard then got cross-checked. And then Savard losing control and retaliating in a situation like this. He got the slashing penalty on Cavallini, regardless of the fact that Cavallini did it to him. He's got to take that situation because Marawelli never saw it. And Savard goes to the penalty box, so he gives the Blues a big break with 4:32 remaining on the 5-minute penalty to Schnepp's.
the Blues go on to win in Game 7 in Chicago Stadium, what do you do if you're Mike Keenan? Greg Millen started the first 3 games of the series. Ed Belfour came in to play the next 2, played brilliantly, got hit for 2 in the first 2.5 minutes of the game tonight, was lifted, and Cloutier makes his first postseason appearance tonight. 3 choices for Keenan, and should he get to that 7th game? So you wanted to be a coach, huh?
Well, right now I'd have to give the nod to Cloutier the way he's played. And Savard, Mariueli missing that vicious slash by Cavallini. And catches. It's always the way, though. The retaliatory penalty is always the one that seems to get caught.
So 4 skaters aside here as the Hawks. Larmer trying to spring Roenick. The pass eludes him. It's kept in by Larmer, though. Shoots one, tip, and a save by Riendo. Then Roenick got driven into the net by Featherstone. And Roenick, I believe, redirected that Larmer shot. Riendo with a neat stop to keep his team up a pair.
Larmer just got to it, let it go without looking, and Roenick right there might have gotten a piece of it. Then Featherstone rams him into his own goaltender, and Riendo upset with Mariueli because Roenick hit him, but it was his own player, Featherstone, that created the damage. Roenick with 7 goals, leading all rookies in that category. Brindamore leading all rookies in total points.
Larmer and Roenick against Oates and Hall. As we play 4 aside, here's the draw. Larmer's backhander is blocked, came loose to the line. Hall got away from Wilson. Here's another 2-on-1. Hall over the line, makes a bid for the hat trick, and a save, rebound, and another save by Cloutier. Now here's Jeff Brown clearing it around the boards, and out comes Roenick. 1-on-1 with Featherstone. Roenick crossing the line to his backhand. He got spun around, knocked down, and the play goes on. Manson then fails to hold it in at the line. Presley turning at center. Clearing it into the St. Louis end. Brett Hall got help from Jeff Brown. Lifting one to the Chicago line. And Thomas turns back the other way, steps into the blue zone. Steve Thomas, a shot and a save, rebound, and a save by Riendo on Presley. Presley digs it out behind the net. Couldn't get by Tuttle, however. And Steve Tuttle harassed by Presley, who steals. Presley centered it. Bob Murray couldn't get any wood on that. Tuttle looking to clear. He does. And the Blues might have another 2-on-1. Here's Tuttle with Jeff Brown over the line. Tuttle moving in, trying to center it, deflecting over the stick of Oates. Keith Brown the other way. Here's 2 defensemen on a Hawk rush. Keith Brown a long shot. Riendo gave up a rebound, and Manson couldn't get there. Paul Cavallini a nice play to clear it, and it winds up back at the Hawk line. Lemieux into the blue zone, around Cavallini, cutting it around, another man shoots. He shot it just wide. Great rush by Lemieux, and then he was slashed as he let the shot go. Now into the far corner. Cavallini knocked down by Lemieux. The Savard penalty's over. Hawks are back to a power play. Here's Savard, side of the net. Savard slipped it in front. Brown a drive. Riendo the save, and the Blues control and clear. 2 minutes to go on the Chicago power play. 4.5 for the third. Here come the Hawks. Savard over the line. The drive. Another save by Riendo. Rebound Troy Murray centering. Riendo blocked the pass before it got to Larmer. Coming to the near corner. The Blues clear. Now Savard back into St. Louis territory around Lallor. Fires. Riendo another save. To Wilson a shot. Didn't get through. To the far corner Savard. Tied up there by Lallor. Came loose to Tuttle. Couldn't get it out. Yanni a long shot. Riendo stopped that to Lallor. He cleared to center ice. Hawks dumping it right back in there. Larmer behind the net. Got a rough ride from Lawler, who knocked him down on top of the puck in the corner. Then it came loose to Roenick. Here there's a wraparound and a safe rebound right through the goal crease. The Hawks miss scoring by an inch, and the Blues. Oates comes up with it. Adam Oates back into the Chicago zone. Will just calmly waste a little time. A minute left on the Chicago power play. 3.5 for the third. 4-2 Blues. Here's Steve Thomas. Lost it as he came over the line. Bob Murray will dump it in. All Cavallini back. Hammers it around the boards. Murray at the line keeps it in. Here's long shot. Didn't get through. Big scramble in the slot area, and the whistle sounds just before the puck came loose. Dan Marawelli lost sight of it and stopped the play. And we're down to 3 minutes remaining in the third period.
And Vincent Riendeau, another terrific night, especially in the last couple of shifts. He's been terrific. Roenick in behind the net, tries the wraparound. Deflects up in the air. Riendeau kicks it. Savard hacks at it. Just misses the far post, or the near post, and Roenick couldn't corral it. Hawks buzzing all around the Blues net. Riendeau kicks it away and then gets a break of Savard's rebound attempt. Just hacked wide, and then 4 players go crashing to the ice. 34 seconds remaining on the 5-minute high sticking penalty, and 3 minutes to go in the third period. Hawks with 17 shots here in the third, a lot of them in the power play. The Blues, though, with a 2-goal cushion on Rich Sutter's goal at 11:07.
Sutter and Lowry with singles for St. Louis. Brett Hull, who scored twice. Savard and Roenick have the Chicago goal. Ron Wilson and Troy Murray to the left of Riendeau. Wilson won the draw to Featherstone. Put it around the boards, and it trickles free to center ice. Troy Murray. Move it to Bob Murray, turning behind the net. Now Manson. Ahead for Troy Murray. He got it to center, and Thomas on the move. Steps over the line on Featherstone, trying to muscle his way in front. Centered it. Lowry steals and clears it down the length of the ice. And the Blues. Their penalty is over in just a second as the Hawks dump it in. Both teams are now back at full strength. 2.5 minutes left. Lawler at center, dumping it in, and the Blues have failed to clear, so the offside whistle sounds. And they're on their feet in the St. Louis arena.
Well, they weather a big storm because of Riendeau's fine play in the net. The 5-minute power play helped by a slashing penalty from Savard. But at 4-on-4, the Blackhawks had an edge in play and some chances, with Riendeau brilliant.
Just over 18,000 on hand here tonight. Riendeau having trouble getting the attention of the officials.
Some debris on the ice.
Yeah, I think he's got some debris, and he's got a little ice problem right in the goal crease, and that's hardly a surprise. An awful lot of play has been in that area, especially in the last few minutes.
It's like somebody threw a coin on the ice. The worst thing you could possibly do.
All right, here's the draw. Doug Wilson pounds it in there. Lawler and Larmer battle in the corner. Then Savard dug it out but was knocked down. Ron Wilson came up with it. To Jeff Brown. Lead for Sutter. He's in alone. Rich Sutter a shot. And a safe rebound. Taken by Wilson. And it's blocked by Greg Gilbert. Greg Gilbert saved a goal with Kluche down and out on the play. And Gilbert gives his team a fighting chance.
Sutter in behind the Hawk defense. A pass right on the money. Sutter looking for his second goal of the period. And Cloutier kicked it away. And then Gilbert goes down with Cloutier down. Wilson shot blocked. If it gets by Gilbert, it's history. It's 5-2 St. Louis.
To go in the third. Now Roenick, Lemieux, and Thomas come out for Chicago. It'll be Oates, Lowry, and Tuttle for St. Louis. Ready to the right of Cloutier, and the draw is taken by Bob Murray. Murray gave it to Manson, looking for Lemieux. It was behind him. Bob Murray has to turn in his own end. Gave it to Manson. This time he got it to Lemieux at center, who dumps it in. Riendo pushed it to the near side, and Tuttle. There's it back the other way. Lowry racing, and after it's going to get there, shoots one. Cloutier got a piece of that. Rebound to the near side. Now over to the far corner goes Tuttle. Carrying it around to the near board. Steve Thomas. Thomas works his way to center ice. Dumping it in. Rich Sutter couldn't get it out. Yanni, as Cloutier remains in the game, looking to the bench but getting no signal. Blues clear it to center. We're into the final minute. Savard steps over the St. Louis line, shoots one. Riendo the save. Rebound Gino Cavallini. Clears it to the near side, not out. Gilbert to the corner, Savard. Savard tries to center, picked off, and the Blues work it to center ice. Rich Sutter dumping it into the Hog zone. Half a minute left. We're going to have a Game 7 on Monday night in Chicago Stadium. Here comes Larmer. To Gilbert over the line. Cloutier halfway to the bench. Still doesn't get a signal. He stays in as the Blues clear it back the other way. And the St. Louis Blues have kept alive. They're going to beat the Hawks tonight 4-2. It's all over. Vincent Riendo mobbed by his teammates, and well, he should be. Brian Sutter can take a deep breath for the first time tonight, as the Blues, on the brink of elimination, keep their playoff hopes alive and force a decisive 7th game back in Chicago on Monday night. In the third period, Riendo facing 18 Chicago shots. He stopped them all. 11 shots for St. Louis. The game total 39-28, favoring Chicago. The only goal of the third period, Richard Sutter from the doorstep, assisted by Ron Wilson and Gino Cavallini at 11:07. That gave the Blues all the breathing room they needed. And this series is all even at 3 games apiece. Your final score tonight, in front of a happy sellout St. Louis Arena crowd, the Blues 4, the Blackhawks 2.